Dana White and the UFC took it upon themselves to save the sporting world by putting on an unprecedented 3 events in less than a week. Despite the health concerns and against the advice of the nation's top health officials, the UFC felt that they could create an environment that would allow for a safe and controlled event, and based on the PPV numbers and reports from sportsbooks, boy did that gamble pay off. From top to bottom, Saturday's UFC 249 card took on more bets than any other MMA event in the history of the company, shared Dave Mason of BetOnline. Not only was the main card stacked, but the Anthony Pettis vs. Donald Cerrone fight was the most bet UFC Prelims fight ever. As the general public desperately looks for some sort of normalcy in these testing times, the return of athletics signals a turn of the tide, and one that sports fans were eager to rally behind. Saturday we saw more sports actives on the site and had our highest deposit volume since the major sports went down a couple months back, added Mason, providing further evidence that even casual bettors were quick to seize the opportunity to sweat out a result. Wednesday's UFC Fight Night, Smith vs. Teixeira. The UFC's parade continues tonight with another full card of action slated, as light heavyweights Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira battle for title contention. Hosting a midweek event is rare for the organization, but it comes as a relief for those looking to take a break from Netflix and the never-ending coronavirus news cycle. While Wednesday's Fight Night card won't see anything close to the action last Saturday's card took, it is trending towards one of the most bet ESPN Plus cards. Mason went on to add that the current action is about 60% greater than a typical ESPN Plus Fight Night card. One of the most notable differences to the ongoing events has been the absence of an audience and the energetic atmosphere that they provide, so much that those fighting in the UFC 249 event stated they were able to hear most conversations going on ringside. A few even claimed to have adjusted their game plans based on the comments being made by the commentary team, shared an interesting trend, stating that 65% of UFC fights that have taken place in empty arenas have gone the distance. This could be contributed to an ease in communication between a fighter and his corner, as well as hearing the opposing team's suggestions. But while fighters often credit their ability to stick to their game plan in post-fight interviews, the energy that fills the arena after a vicious hit or a narrow escape is undeniable, and athletes can be influenced to react as well. Current UFC odds list only one of the evening's events with a favorite over -200, suggesting that fans could be in store for a fair share of upsets and underdog value. For the main event, Anthony Smith finds himself listed anywhere between -190 and -200 depending on where you shop to defeat the aging Glover Teixeira.